15 years ago, I made this organization rack. It has helped to keep my screws organized. It's something that I am very happy that I made, but it uses these glass bottles that honestly I couldn't find anymore. They're formula bottles. Something similar to that is one of these little plastic bottles where you squeeze the top and you can dump out whatever's inside of it. These are about $3 a piece, and I've never liked them because they're very difficult to label. So let me show you an alternative that I came up with. All the bottles here cost me about $3, and I really like the way that they work. Like the squeeze, there's just a hole in the top, and it's really easy to label. Let me show you how I made this. I went ahead and cut all my pieces. I have all the measurements on the website. You can obviously cut these any way that you want. I used a miter saw. Before we get into this, we're going to talk about water bottles. These are 8 fluid ounce mini bottles. I got this entire pack for probably about $3. They're very cheap. I'm going to go ahead and cut around each one of these and just take all the caps off. I'm going to drain them outside. The next time that you see these, they'll be completely dry inside. I have a printout that you can click on and download for yourself. We're going to cut 3 of the 9-inch long pieces with these dimensions here. The other 2 will be part of the outside box. We have 2 pieces here. These are the 12¼ inch pieces. We're going to cut out 3 notches. I'm going to use some double-sided tape, and I'm going to tape these 3 pieces together. And now I'll measure each one of these out. The first one is going to be 2½ inches. The next one is 3¼ inches, then 5 3/4, and then 6½. And that's going to be it for these. I'll take a machinist square and I'll go ahead and draw a line all the way across on each one of these. And we only want to cut 1.5 inches across, which is a little bit farther than the center. You could do the center if you want. This just guarantees that when we put the rack together, they won't be bumping up against each other. We'll cut these 2 parts out on the bandsaw. I'm going to go ahead and tape these together. If we're looking at the sheet here, we're going to start off with 2½ inches, and then 3¼ inches, then 5 3/4, 6½, 9 inches, 9 3/4, which is our last one. Just like before, we'll draw the lines across. And once again, we'll do 1½ inches. I'm going to make this easy and do 1½ here, and then 1½ down here, and connect the 2 marks. Now, if you plan on stacking your pieces together, you're going to want to make sure that your blade is square to the table. For some reason, this table is always out of square. With one piece, it's not that bad, but as you stack them, it gets really bad really quick. Now here it is all put together. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not happy with the way that this came out. The wood that I used were furring strips, and they're actually 5/8 and not 3/4 inch. And so all my dimensions were off. As you can see, there's a lot of play in each one of these. So we're not going to do this. I did the exact same thing, but I used 3/4 inch 1x4s. And because I did this, I had to update my sheet. So here's the old one, and here's the new one. This new one you'll be able to download easily off my website. With these newer ones, I'm going to go ahead and show you how these go together. As I mentioned earlier, these are all now dry. I'll go ahead and take them out of the plastic here. I'm just going to go ahead and take off the outer wrapper here. We're going to want to add a hole so that we can obviously get screws in and outside of the bottle. You could take a utility knife and cut a hole out if you wanted to, but I'm going to try using a washer. Now I've taken all the zinc off of this outside. I'm going to warm this up and I'm just going to cut through the top of it. Now that I've got my hole, I'm going to go ahead and add my cap again. I've got some number 6 by 3/4 combo pan screws. I'll go ahead and load these in here. When you need some, you'll just flip it over like this. Very simple design. Once you filled all your bottles up, you can print off a little sheet that I made that will label each one of these. I've designed each of the labels so that they're just big enough to fit on a normal cap. Since these are sheet metal screws, I'll come down to the sheet metal screw and I'll go ahead and cut one of these out. Now I'll use a little carpet tape to attach it. I'm gonna go ahead and write number 6 and 3/4 of an inch. And we'll make sure that this is upright before putting our label on. And here we go with all the bottles installed. What I like about this is that I have all my 4 main sizes here that I usually work with. My number 4s, number 6s, number 8s, and number 10s. The sizes that I use more than anything are the 1/2, 3/4, and the 1 inch. I've also made tags for hex nuts, flat washers, lock washers, and wood screws. And again, this is available on my website. And as a bonus, if you're worried about getting any kind of dirt on the outside of the paper, grab a piece of tape and just put it right on the outside of it. That's it for this video. Let me know if this is something that you might be interested in making. And as you can see, I've got some screws to buy.